Hello everyone, my name is Dorian and welcome to another track guide with the F3. We are at Long Beach and boy is this a fun combo. Much like Detroit, you're always hugging the walls, it's gonna be a ton of fun. I've taken the iRacing baseline setup and I tweaked it a little bit, made it a little bit safer in my opinion, and I'm gonna share that freely in my Discord, link in the description below. If you want to see more track guides, subscribe to the channel. If you enjoyed, if you found it helpful, please leave a like. And that's it. I'm just going to show you guys the lap real quick, and then we're going to go over it corner by corner. See you guys on the track. Okay, so we're coming up to turn number 1. Let's look for a braking point. It's going to be right before the 300 here. So right around here is when I start braking. Now, keep in mind that the car's got half a tank and really warm tires, pretty much optimal conditions. So I brake pretty late. I would definitely, with cold tires, I would definitely brake right around here. Like, let's say the 350. Just to start out with, especially if you're just getting on the track for the first time, and you're trying to figure everything out, start by braking early because it's very easy to lose the rear end on entry here and understeer on the exit. So you want to keep everything settled down. You can see I'm not peaking very high, around 70%, and pretty immediately I'm going to start to release it gradually. I don't want to stay on the brakes for too long. I don't want to overheat the tires as always. So there is a gradual release. Right after this white sign here, I'm going to start to turn into third gear. Trail braking as I do. Looking for the apex pretty early. I'm not trying to get a late apex here. As you can see, I'm sort of avoiding the high part of the curb, just the flat part, maybe just the beginning of the high part right around here is still fine. Car's kind of neutral at this point. I'm just waiting for it to settle down, landing from the curb. I'm stabbing the throttle to around, I don't know, let's say 70%. And I'm waiting. This is a waiting game, and there's a few corners here on this track where it is a waiting game where you're just waiting for the car to get settled down. As you can see, the car's bouncing around. It's very bumpy. I'm just waiting for the front to bite. I can feel it in my force feedback. Then I open up the wheel as soon as I do and go back to 100%. So as you can see, I'm almost fully open before I'm accelerating back up to 100% again. Hugging this wall on the inside. And I'm going to stay on it. I'm not going to let the car run wide until I finish the yellow sign here. That kind of guarantees a good line for the square here for the Dolphins. I don't know how you guys call it here. Braking, I would say 40% peak. Something like that, yeah. Downshifting into second. Turning left here to kind of maximize my approach, giving myself a nice wide arc to the inside. And as I do, you can see I'm downshifting at this point, right after the first apex here. I'm downshifting into first. So I'm using first here to rotate the car. Trail braking into the curb, trying to hug it, stay on it for as long as possible, because that's going to allow me to be very aggressive on the exit. The more you stay on the right here, the more you'll open up the exit here. You can see 50% at this point. Opening up the wheel, back to 100. Almost no hesitation. So 50%, open up the wheel, back to 100, and this is the line you want to take. This line will guarantee you're clipping this apex as much as you can without touching the wall. Already turning left, accelerating very hard all the way up to third gear here. Second, third, and we're gonna start this corner, and it's gonna be right before this sign. I'm gonna start to turn in and do a little bit of trail braking. So I'm peaking at around, I would call this 20%, 15%, and releasing into trail braking all the way into the apex. Again, I want to use the flat part and maybe adjust a little bit of the high part, not too much though. Staying in third gear, do not downshift into second, even with cold tires. And as soon as I hit the apex here, I'm a little more aggressive on the throttle. The colder the car is, the worse the track conditions are, the later you're gonna have to accelerate here. So let's say 40, 50, 60%. Waiting on it. You can see a little bit of modulation here. I'm trying to avoid the understeer because, I'm trying to grab as much track usage as I can. I'm trying to use all of the track. And as I open up the wheel back to 100% again, letting the car run wide all the way to the left of this red line. So I got my left wheel beyond this left line, this red line, or maybe just riding on it. Staying in third gear, don't upshift into fourth. And I'm gonna start braking right here. Is there a visual marker here? Probably not. There's nothing much I can tell you that's gonna tell you to when to brake here. But you have these signs here, and you might want to use them. Braking at around 40%. Again, I'm not trying to brake too hard. And I want to turn in quite late. I don't want to turn in too early. Maybe clip just the edge of this curb right here, this red and white curbs. Trail braking all the way into them. I stabbed the throttle a little too harsh. You can see 50%. That shouldn't be too much. But as the car kind of bounced, it kind of changed the altitudes very quickly. Went in the air a little bit, and that made my backhand kick out. Had to catch it. Caught it. Bit of a risky moment. And I'm back to 100%. If that didn't happen, if I was a little more gentle on my on the early part of the throttle, I would have been able not to kick the backhand out and be a little bit earlier on the throttle. Probably about a 10th in it for you if you try to get it better. Line the car up to the right. Looking for a braking point. It's going to be right before the 200. So the colder the car, the earlier you'll have to brake in these conditions, right before the 2. Downshifting into third. Starting to turn in right before the 100. Peaking at around 60% and releasing it very quickly. Trail braking all the way into the apex. Trying to be as close to this wall as possible. As I do, you can see the car is already neutral. I'm waiting for the point where I feel safe to go back to the power. And right after it, when I'm going to start accelerating again. And same as most corners here, I'm waiting at around 70%, hovering around it, waiting for the car to grip again, because I am sliding around a little bit, and then back to 100%, using all of the track and line the car up to the left. Now, right before the 200 is where you want to brake. Make sure you got a straight car when you start braking here. So let's take it slowly. You can see I'm only going to start braking as my wheel is straight. At that point, I'm hitting the brakes. 50%, not a big braking point. You don't want to brake too hard here at all. You want to try to carry the speed. Braking early here kind of helps you get a good exit. All the way into third gear, staying in third. And I'm looking for a relatively late apex. I kind of missed it, if I'm honest. That was a bit aggressive on the exit here. And I had to straighten out the wheel very quickly. Catch it again and make help the back end rotate. Kind of made me drift a little bit, but I caught it and hugging the wall on the outside. So definitely try to be a little bit closer to this apex, but late. If you try to cut it early, you're gonna have a very hard time on the exit. You won't be able to put any power down. So you want to clip it late. It's all about timing. This is sort of your apex, this breaking point and this barrier. So try to be as close to it as you can. 70%. As I know the car is gripping again, I can feel the force feedback. Very communicative car here, so you know exactly when you can accelerate again. Now, braking right before the 3. So maybe right at the 3. Yeah, right at the 3. Start braking a little bit earlier and experiment. Not a huge peak at all. I would call this 45, 50%. Yeah, 50% braking. Staying in a straight line, staying wide, not trying to turn in early because you want to clip this curb. You want to clip it as much as you can, but you have to do it late. If you do it early, the car will just snap and it could just kick you right to the wall on the outside. So you want to turn in late here so you can afford to clip this curb, but only at a very late stage. So we're about the halfway point here, and only now do I have the right tire on this red curb. And slightly after that, about I would say after about 75%, I'm mounting the car fully to the right. And I'm using third gear for it. Trail braking all the way into it. Car is bouncing, but at this point, it's pretty stable. I got plenty of weight on the left, so it doesn't kick out, and I'm back on the power very gradually here. 50, 60, 70. Straighten out the wheel, back to 100. You don't want to use all of the track here because you very quickly, you're going to have to turn left here, so you want to take a wider approach. It's very tempting to try to use all of the track, but that's going to hurt you a lot on the next couple of corners. You got to keep that in mind, not be too greedy here. You can see I'm turning the car to the right, and as I start turning left, I'm already lifting off the throttle. So there's 3 corners here. Only one of them really matters. That's the final corner, the hairpin. It's notoriously difficult, and you want to take compromises on this double left-hander so you'll have an easier time on the hairpin. Let's look at that. You can see there's a lot more speed that you can carry here technically, but I'm already compromising, fully releasing the throttle, just a little bit of throttle just to maintain the car. I'm using third throughout, I believe. Second now. Okay. So I just downshifted into second. That's interesting. Look at the gearing for a second. Third, down into second right now. And I'm going to stay in second. Okay. So definitely lifting, trying to hug the inside, mounting the curb. Just downshifted into second when I mounted the first curb. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to stab the throttle periodically to get rotation. I'm not trying to accelerate. I'm not being greedy here. I'm just stabbing it and trying to get the back end to kick out slightly. After the tires are warm, you can definitely take more liberties with it. So keep that in mind. I'm stabbed it once. I'm going to stab it again now. You can see, and releasing again. Stabbing it again. As you can see, it gives me more rotation to give myself a very wide arc for the hairpin. Trying to take a short route throughout. I'm not trying to go wide at any point. So I'm braking very softly on the curb. I'm already trying to slow the car down, but very, very gently. You can see that will increase as I finish mounting this curb. So as the car is straight now, I'm going to give it more brakes. Downshift into first gear. Should already be in first at this point. And I'm using about 30-35% brakes right before I enter the corner. And now I've reduced my minimum speed so much that I don't have to touch the brakes, because if you do, when you got the wheel turning this hard, about 180 degrees, maybe a little bit more than that, you're going to start locking up. So I'm going to release the brakes fully at this point and letting the car just rotate. I'm waiting. I'm going to start to put some load on the rear tires at this point. You really have to be patient on the throttle here. I'm just trying to stabilize them and put some weight on them before I commit to accelerating again. I'm in first gear and I have zero room to kick the backhand out on the exit. If I had more room, would have been more aggressive here, but because I just don't have the room and the car can get damaged from that very easily, I'm going to be very patient, 40%, 50%. Waiting. I'm at 90 degrees and I'm still in around 50%, 9 degree steering. And as I open it fully, you can see I'm still hesitant. As I open it fully, back to 100 at this point. Now I can take the car all the way to the outside using all of the track that's available to me. And that was as fast as I've ever taken it. And that's it. That should give us a 1:13.281. Hope you guys enjoyed the track guide, and if you did, please leave a like. If you want to see more track guides and racing videos, I'm going to do some here this week. then subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think. And there's always my Discord. You can find setups there, shoot the shit, whatever. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.